Today, I'm meeting Mimi Kone, who's the founder of Mimi and Mina. Mimi is a 35-year-old entrepreneur who took a leap of faith, walking away from a secure job as a sales manager at Louis Vuitton's flagship store in Geneva. Mimi noticed a lack of representation for boutique premium hair services for women of colour and started her very own boutique hair salon in the heart of Notting Hill, London. We're here today to find out about the lady behind the brand. So, we're here with Mimi.
Hi.
In your incredible store in Notting Hill.
Thank you.
First and foremost, thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
And beautiful place, great location. Here today to just get an understanding of Mimi.
Thank you.
The person behind the brand that's building this incredible business and, of course, inspiring others to follow those steps that many don't really see.
Thank you.
This is just a conversation. This is not a right or wrong communication or interview. It's just a conversation. Okay. So, before we get into it, just bring me to life. What did growing up in Ouagadougou?
Ouagadougou.
What did growing up in Ouagadougou
was like?
What was it like for me growing up there? How did it mold and shape you? I want to know how did it shape the person you are today?
I think I had like the most amazing time growing up in Burkina Faso because everyone is happy there. People live with the minimum they have. I come from a very disciplined and strict household. My dad was very disciplined and so strict. I think that has forged me to be also very disciplined and be strict in whatever I do. And I think it's forged me also confidence. But growing up for me was going to school. I had to bring good grades. And then I could just go out with my friends and have fun. I was a bit rebellious, I have to say. But growing up in Burkina Faso, growing up in Africa, I think has forged my identity. I have a clear understanding of who I am and where I come from, and I think that is very important as an individual.
You were there till 18, right?
Yes.
Tell me about the transition of going from Africa to location.
Yeah, to Chambéry in France. So I grew up in Burkina until I was 18, but at 14 I went to France for holidays and I loved it, and I said I'm coming back. And then when I had my bachelor degree, which is A-level equivalent here in the UK, I decided to go abroad and to go to France and to start university. So I went to Chambéry, Université de Savoie, and there I started a course for a bachelor in business administration.
And where did that come from? What drew you to business?
I wanted, when I was growing up, I was thinking about two things. I wanted to either be a lawyer or be an entrepreneur. And I just didn't want the hard work of being a lawyer. You had to learn everything, know everything by heart. And I felt like entrepreneurship felt more with my personality because I'm someone who likes to have ideas, like to put ideas out there and like to try them. So it felt right for me at the time.
And what was it like coming from Africa?
It was difficult.
Transitioning into Europe.
Yes, it was difficult, but funny enough, I think I have a very good skill in adapting to cultures. Mm-hmm. So it was easy, but it was my first time to hear about racism because I grew up in Burkina Faso, where the doctor, whoever is the doctor, the pilot, or the guy on the corner of the shop were all black like me. So I did never have an idea of what racism was. And then when I was here in France, I started saying that actually I was different than other people. Mm. But it did not stop me from dreaming or from wanting what I wanted. I just protected my peace and just made sure I surrounded myself with people that accepted me and liked me for who I was.
And just that internal approval of self during that transition. How did you kind of internalize that adjustment when you came to realize, okay, I've been in somewhere where predominantly black, and now I'm here where I'm different, and you're seeing, how did you internally kind of adjust?
I just adapted, as I said to you, when I moved from Burkina Faso to France, I had a very strong Burkina accent when I was speaking with French people. And what I started doing, I started working on my pronunciation. Today, if I speak with any French person, they wouldn't think I was born in Burkina. They would think I'm totally French, born in France. So what I did that I felt like was the right thing for me to do is to adapt. I feel like you can go anywhere you want. You can travel anywhere you want. If you decide to go to someone else's country and live there, you have to somehow adapt to their cultures by respecting yourself, yours as well, but also adapt to how it works there. So I did that first. So it helped me to integrate easily, I think.
Do you think everyone deals with that integration that way, or do you think?
No, I think there are some African people that move here and they live in Africa and Europe. Those are people that actually they are here, but actually they like the lifestyle of there, so they adapt the lifestyle of there. I'm nobody to judge. I just feel like everyone has to see what works for them best, and what worked for me best, because I wanted to integrate and I wanted to set myself up for success, and I wanted to achieve so many things. I was like, those are the things that I need to do to make sure that I can keep growing and I can keep, going where I want to go.
So you have two paths,
yeah.
Lawyer or entrepreneur.
Yes.
How did you step into the entrepreneur path? How did that?
I just feel because I wanted to create things, and because for me it was very important to run my own business. The idea I had about an entrepreneur was someone who could do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. But I never actually, when I decided to go through that path, think about also the difficult part of it, because you are alone and you have to manage so many things and you have to think about so many things at the same time. So it's very important for you to actually, have strength and also be grounded and also think strategically constantly, because a bad decision can make you lose something. A good decision can make you also go in the direction you want to go. It sounded more fun, I would say.
Was it easy to let go of the idea you had of being a lawyer, or was it kind of like
It was very easy, because it was clear by the time I was 18 that I did not want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay, so now you're in France, and then you decide to take another leap.
Which is?
Europe. From Europe to the UK. When did that transition happen?
There were another leap before that.
Okay, so here we go.
So I'm in France. I do my 3 years study bachelor degree, and I decide to move to Switzerland.
Wow.
I decided to move to Geneva. So I had an interview with Louis Vuitton, and I got a role as a sales manager for the main flagship store in Rue du Rhône, which is like the most beautiful street in Geneva with all the beautiful shops. So I ended up there to start my career, and it was the best school for me. For me, it was like, I think from all the brands around the world, I think the brand that understand customer experience, understand luxury, and also the best luxury school for anyone is Louis Vuitton, because even though I was recruited as a sales manager, I had to start where all the training stuff starts. You have to learn all the process of the brand, how the product come in, how the product go out, how do we do merchandising, how do we count the stock, how do we behave on the shop floor. And that has been a really, really amazing experience for me. And when I was there, I started thinking about creating Mimi Mina.
And just before we go into that transition for the next travel, what is it you learned from being in the luxury sector? What was your takeaway for?
I learned customer experience. I learned customer service. Customer service is key for any brand, like making sure that your customers are happy and making sure that their experience is different than anything they can have. that is your brand like DNA is just so important, especially when you are in retail or service business. Customer service and customer experience is really important. I also learned about being strategic and disciplined. I also learned about luxury, what's nice, what's not nice. I can speak about any brand because I know about brands and I know about luxury brands. I've learned a lot, and also it was my first actually real job. So for me, it was a great experience because I learned so much. There is so much I can tell you. I did project management, I did business development, I did a bit of marketing, so many things.
You seem to have the ability to kind of pick yourself up and
go
move into the next thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Louis Vuitton, I'm assuming the clientele, very high end.
Yeah.
Were you ever intimidated in any of these transitions?
At first, when you start working at Louis Vuitton, you are intimidated because everyone that works in there are mostly wealthy. Of course, there are people that works in there and just this is like their treats. And I feel like that is even more interesting to deal with a client like that who has saved for a long time because she or he wanted a Louis Vuitton bag. Those people, I loved working with them. But with the really wealthy one, there were some codes, there is ways to behave around them and there is things you can say, things you can't say. But it was very interesting. And the first thing that happened at Louis Vuitton and I was shocked is that this lady from Kazakhstan walked in. She went on the top floor and she spent £112,000 in clothes, shoes, bags. And when you work for Louis Vuitton and your yearly salary doesn't even make that, it's actually impressive.
How did that impact you, seeing those kind of numbers?
I was like, I want to do that one day too.
Wow, I can imagine because not many people realize what's being spent behind the secret level that Louis Vuitton or Gucci or these other high-end brands have. Yeah. So then you kind of, you started to take another leap. Tell me about that.
The other leap I took was to take a very challenging role as a hospitality manager for a French group where I was looking after €2 million. And that was a really great and amazing challenge for me because I had to build the whole hospitality and customer service, customer experience department of a luxury clinic. So we had 150 rooms and we had people coming for health reasons, and then there were people of certain standards, so we had to actually offer them like an hotel. You're sick, but it's like you are in a hotel or you are staying at a hotel while you are recovering. So I built that and I had 20 people with who I was working, and we managed to actually turn over at €2 million. I was 27 or 8 by then. And I think that experience made me realize that I could do it for myself and I could actually do whatever I wanted for myself. And then what happened is, so I was head of hospitality and my boss directly was head of operation. So my boss decided to leave. I was in this role for 1.5 years, and after 1.5 years, I've done the world tour and I was like, okay, what else? Because I learned very fast. This is one of my greatest skills. I can learn fast. And when my boss decided to leave his job and this head of operation was available, I went to apply for it because I was like, okay, I'm okay. There's nothing I can learn in this job anymore. I've done it for 1.5 years. I've done the tour of it. I know the ins and outs. I want to move up. So I went to the director of the clinic because we would all like have meetings together every Monday. So after the meeting, I asked him if I could speak to him, and I said I wanted to apply for the head of operation. And his response made me feel really sad because his response was like, he looked at me and he smiled and he said, "You are well where you are. You've been doing this. It's only been 1.5 years." But the way he responded, to be really honest, Leo, is I felt deep down in my heart that he was telling me that you are head of hospitality. That is enough. Why do you want to go any higher? You are already in a good position. And I felt like that was because I was black, because in this whole clinic, most black people that were working there were cleaners. So I was like, okay, I'm out of here. So I started planning to move to London then. Because I started then, after that meeting, I went home. I was very frustrated, very upset. And what I decided to do is to start doing a research, because I was like, I want to open a premium brand for women, black women. I want to inspire black women and give them confidence by creating a premium brand. Why? Because up to now, Leonard, there were no premium hair brand for black women. You know, if you think about skincare or you think about hair care, there is no brand that actually made us dream, like where we will look at the packaging or whatsoever and we will feel good about ourselves. You know, we will have to go to corner shops and buy the product we needed. And I was like, no, we need to have a brand that actually, you know, empower us and, you know, give us that feeling of, you know, I'm worth like a premium brand and I'm worth anything I want to achieve in my life. So I did a market research in Geneva, France and London about opening a boutique. So this is a boutique because I wanted it to be small and cute. I wanted to have only 3 mirrors, make the experience very personal. You know, the client come in, knows the people working there and having like a bond. And from my market research, Paris wasn't great because there is so many different things, reason I don't recall them. Geneva was good. It was either Geneva, I stayed in Geneva, or I went to London. And at that time, my English was so bad. I didn't speak really well. So I was like, okay, a next adventure. So I decided to move here.
Wow. And I mean, before I go into the next phase, it's like...
Do I speak too much?
No, this is exactly what I was asking. So,
I speak too much.
So do you feel, and at what point did you realise that you were different? Because you seem to be doing things alone and you seem to be quite tenacious with a destination in your mind. I mean, when did you realise that you have this difference in whether it be your wants or your desires? When did you realise?
I think I've always had that. I think that comes also from me being rebellious. You know, when you grow up in a household where it's very strict, like very strict, you learn to say, actually, no, I don't agree with this and I'm not doing this and I'm doing what I want. And I think that has forged me to actually stand for what I wanted. So I think I've known that from a young age. But I feel like over the years I have smoothed down because I feel like before I was a bit more, I'm more mature, I would say.
Structured it.
Exactly.
So in regards to your first step because the general person would start their own boutique and maybe find the location which is reasonably priced or a bit more around the target demographic, which you mentioned is to bring a black premium experience. Yeah. What was your thought process in choosing Notting Hill?
So I moved to London and I started looking for places. I wanted to be central. Because I didn't know, I moved here, I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends, nobody. I was just alone and I made friends over time. But I didn't have anyone to advise me, go there or go there. And also I wanted to have a very luxurious salon. So my first thing to Google was cosmopolitan high-end areas. And then Notting Hill came up. And I came here and I walked around and I was like, I want my shop here. And I started Googling to find this shop. And when I found the shop, I came and I remember again, we were outside looking in and I looked and I said to my friend, it's too small because initially I wanted to have nails. I wanted to do like all beauty services for a black woman. And in the end, I said to her, it's too small. I don't think this would work. And she turned around, looked at me and said, start here. And then if you want to move after and have a bigger one, you can. And that was for me a response that made me realize that, okay, let me start small and then I can grow from that. So that's how I chose Notting Hill.
And what did that day feel like?
that day felt like, okay, I'm gonna choose this one. Then we got on the train on our way back, and I'm like, okay, let me call. And I called, and the agent said the landlord is making a decision this afternoon. And I'm like, okay, can I apply? And he said, well, yes, but I need it by 5, and it was 4 p.m. So I hanged up and I called my surveyor and I said, look, I need you to make an offer on this property because I just really like it, and I think that this is the right shop for me. And he actually did put an offer, and then the agent came back to me and said, the landlord want to speak to you. And he called me on Monday. He lives in Canada. He lives in Toronto. He called me on Monday and we had a little chat, and he said, I saw your business plan. Why are you doing that? He asked me a few questions about me to get to know me. And then he said to me, I'm going to give you this shop because I think you are young and ambitious, and also there is no black owner around here, so I think it would be good to have you. And then he gave me the shop. I moved in and I did all the renovation, and I organized a massive big party. I started going around the shops, getting flyers, telling people I'm opening Mimi Mina. It's open to everyone. Just come and have your hair done. We do weaves. We also do European hair. So I took a European hairstylist and a Afro hairstylist, and we did a big party for the launch. I invited everyone that helped me build the shop, and I also invited a few people I met since I was in London. We had a really beautiful party. Next day we opened. 0. Nobody walks into the shop. I go home and I'm like, okay, it's the first day, no problem. Second day, 0. Nobody walks into the shop. And I'm like, oh my God. Third day, one woman walked in, European woman. She is, I think, Greek. She literally lives in that street. She walks in and she's like, oh, your shawl is so cute. What do you do? Blow dries. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to have a blow dry. So she come, blow dry, £35. I'm like, okay. On my business plan and on my financial plan, if I show you my financial plan and what was my my breakdown, it was just completely different with what was happening. So after 10 days, I started panicking. Okay, what is gonna happen? What is gonna happen? Because at the beginning, you make your plans with a 3 months turnover. Like, you make sure you launch your brand, and then you make sure you have 3 months to pay your rent, your expenses, and everything. Then after 1 month, I realized that I'm gonna need more than 3 months. I'm gonna need a good 6 months to actually build something. So stress. So I started sitting at home at night and thinking, okay, going on Google, going on Instagram and looking at other brands and looking at, okay, what are they doing differently that I don't do and I need to do to actually get people in. And just to tell you, initially why I created it, if you remember, was for Black women, right? Multicultural, everyone can come, but targeting Black women to have a better experience when they were going to the salon. Mm-hmm. I ended up not having one Black woman come to my shop in the first months that I launched my salon. So I was just like, okay. Then, as you said earlier, I started realizing that I was in an area where there were a lot of Black women. My shop is in a white area where, there is not a lot of Black people. If my shop was in Brixton, I could do more weaves, but because my shop is here, I need to find a way to show people that actually this is the shop you need to go, and we do fabulous hair and you can have a great experience. And what started saving my life is Facebook ads. So I started doing a lot of Facebook ads, putting £1,000 in Facebook ads. And slowly, we start getting bookings. I start doing Google paid ads. So everything that helped me grow the business came from me being a bit more strategic with my marketing online. So first 3 months, very tough. And then after 6 months, we start having clients slowly, covering our costs. And then, to be really honest, I think it took me at least 2 years to be comfortable and to be like, okay, there is less stress about the business. And it's been a lot of hard work because I had to be here all day, and then at night I had to sit and be like, okay, how are we doing this? How are we doing that? I like to track. So I was tracking the sales every day. I was tracking all the expenses just to know if I was losing £200 this month or £300 or £400. Which I think the fact that I stayed structured about it has helped me actually really understand the brand. And I started also working on what service do we sell the most. Every month I will pull out information about what service do we sell the most, and I would try and push this service on my ad and stuff like that. And then slowly the brand kept building and building and building. And I think why it is a success today, Mimi and Mina, is because we are the first luxury really boutique in London. So you are going to find amazing black hair salon and amazing places to go and do your hair. But actually, the problem they always have is they don't take you on time. So the client would be there and she will have to wait an hour or 2 hours before we actually start her hair. That doesn't happen here. If you have an appointment at 10 we take you. If you have an appointment at 10 and at 9:30 or at 8 a.m., we realize that, actually, we're running late. We are going to call you and say, so sorry, your appointment is at 10, but we can only see you at 10:30. So I've created it to be very professional for professional women who are expecting that, and also offering the best service and offering the best product for black women, because I believe that we deserve it.
Amazing. And look, it's incredible what
Thank
you've said
you.
so far in regards to just the journey. But I just wanted to touch on one point. You do mention like pivotal moments, and it's always great when you relay the story after about the first 5 to 10 days. Those, according to your business plan, are a setback. In fact, they can be perceived as sort of elements of failure, right?
They were failures.
How do you deal with these emotional moments of setbacks?
I think I speak a lot. I have like a great people around me that I can call and actually say, this is how I feel, this is what's going on, what do you think? And they just throw ideas at me, and I just love to listen to what people say. And then after, it takes me a long time to think about it. It would take me a week to think about one thing. And then after a week, the response will come naturally, because I feel like we all have the right response inside us. It's just that sometimes it takes longer to come. Failure is part of it. If you don't fail, you don't learn. And I feel like instead of being scared of failure, we have to embrace it and actually learn from it. And there is one thing that I just do believe is whatever is yours will come and find you. Nobody will have it. Whatever is in this universe and is for you, you will come and find you. And I knew that this business was for me, and I knew that this is what I like doing and this is what I wanted to do. So I didn't give myself an option. I was just like, you have to keep making this work. You have to make it work. There is no other choice. And I would go to bed and I would be like, okay, today wasn't a good day. I will wake up the next morning and I'm like, I'm ready to go and I am going to win, because I have to win. I don't have another solution. What would be the other solution, Leonard, if I don't win? It's failing. I can't fail. I have to win. Always.
So, what would you tell the 18-year-old Mimi?
The
18-year-old Mimi.
What will I tell the 18-year-old Mimi?
That you've learned today.
Today?
Yeah. What would you tell your 18-year-old self that 18-year-old self didn't know?
So many things. So many things. But I think the first thing I would tell her is, I'm really proud of you. You left Burkina at 18, then you came to France, then you worked, then you find one of the most amazing positions that you can have in France as head of something. Then you moved to Switzerland, then you learn also about the Swiss culture. Then you move to the UK, then today you're living here, you also learn about the UK culture. I think I'm super proud of my journey, because what I would tell my 18 years old self is, it was great for me to be curious and want to experience things and want to have adventures. Because today I understand three different country cultures. You know, if I go to France, I completely understand how it works there and how the culture is. In Switzerland, you know, they speak French, but they also have a different culture. And here as well, I start to understand how things work here. And I think culture is so, so important. So I would tell my 18 years old self that I'm proud of her and I'm proud of what she's built in the time she's done it. And I'm at the right place for the right moment.
Looking at what you're doing right now, I think it's very easy to focus on the logistical element of what you're doing, because at the end of the day, when you're in business, your focus is your staff, your overheads, your growth and your expansions, and of course the other things that you get involved in doing. But I think along the way, what tends to happen a lot of the time is that we forget what's happening outside of the logistics. And you mentioned a number of things that you've done, you know, by even starting this business, being a black-owned business woman, being a woman in business, providing an experience which isn't being provided right now in 2021. You're really, you know, inspiring others to believe. And I think belief is a spark, and I think belief is something that, you know, is very easy to give, but very few share, so that they can, you know, feel.
Yeah.
And I think that 5 years from now, we're going to look at like the future. I think it would be beautiful to see you to continue to share more of your story and more of your perspective, because you definitely sound like an individual that thinks, you know, with a vision, but actually follows through. And I think there are a lot of men, there are a lot of women, there are a lot of people from different backgrounds and ethnicities that can take so much from that ambition and that drive. So I would hope that 5 years from now that you continue to share outside of your business, your perspective, your views, and to, you know, be part of the shift which is already happening, which you've done physically in your presence, but be part of that online. Maybe with Google Ads.
Yes, I want to. In the next, I definitely want to give back in terms of actually empower younger girls to do and to be and to believe in themselves. But I just feel like the new generation already do. There is a lot of young girls that are on Instagram now and doing incredible things. And I feel like empowering them to be more is just so amazing. I feel like in the next 5 years, I would like to actually have a very premium and luxury e-commerce brand for Black women who doesn't exist, and allow also Black women from everywhere around the world, as well as Africa, to be able to go online and purchase a luxury product they want. Because if your hair look good, if you look good and you feel good, your mental health is good as well. And I think that is very important. I think in the next 5 years, it will be nice for me. I didn't want to share, but I'm sharing now. My idea would be to make my brand a bit more exclusive. You know, those very luxurious clinics where you have like, when you get there, you have like a very one-to-one experience where we actually really take care of you, with like an area where you can just really relax and read a book while you wait for your appointment, a retail area, and then, you know, make sure that we have like more seats, but just keep this feel boutique. And I feel like also giving back, maybe doing more for Black women.
Great. You're doing it already. You know.
Thank you.
The inspiration is priceless, and sometimes, like I said, when you're in motion and you're focused on your vision, you don't feel the inspiration. But it's very powerful to see, you know, like you said, there's a lot of young people online right now that are starting businesses, but the ground root of any growth, as you know, is business.
Yeah, they need to strategize. Yeah, of course.
Strategizing and not just, you know,
doing it. Yeah,
but actually building.
Yeah,
I think that
is true. So true. So true. So true.
Last question.
Okay.
Who's Mimi?
I think I'm very bubbly, happy, always. I'm very loyal to anyone around me, my friends. I think I'm also demanding, I think. It can happen. I'm very perfectionist. There are things I like them that way and I want them that way. And I think I am strong, and I think I always set myself to achieve whatever I feel like in my heart I want.
Mimi, thank you very much for sitting with us today.
Thank you for having me. This is so sweet. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, MYCOMEUP, for interviewing me today. I really had a lovely time.
Give it in. Thank you.